welcome to this combat mission tutorial gameplay video. Now what I'm going to do is just go through the movement commands and a few other little extra bits and pieces I think you need to know just to get you started into playing this game. So let's just get going with this. Right, what we're going to do is the Blizzard basic training. My apologies if I mispronounce that. This consists of 3 missions. The first one is just to go through doing movement. The second one is a firing range, and the third one is an assault on a enemy position. So let's just kick this off. Okay, what we'll do is we'll change this down to basic training. We'll stay turn-based because that's my preference. Okay, this is just the part of the training campaign is that it gives you background little bits of information and it shows you where you'll see the information. So let's just anyway click through that. Now the reason I'm doing this is basically because I did see on one review someone who's totally new to this sort of military sim genre. And he was a little bit confused about it, didn't know what to do, and it said I'll follow the manual, and so he didn't like all tabbing in and out, and he found the tutorials a little bit overwhelming because he didn't have anything to explain to him smoothly what to do. Okay, so again, as I was saying, this just gives you an idea of the sort of thing to expect. It tells you what the operational panel is meant to display, and it does give you a little bit of background of what we're going to do. And also on here you can see a tactical map with a key of the various things that you're likely to see in a scenario briefing. So let's hit the button here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do camera controls, going to do movement, and as I said, we're going to do a little bit of extra little bits and pieces that I think you would see. Now I'll just put the trees back on because I had that off when I was doing movements for a play by email that I just done. So anyway, let's just do camera controls. So the basic ones are WASD, and you press W, you go forwards, S goes back, A to go left, D to go right, and you know, it's just basic camera controls, which can be a bit awkward at first if you're not used to them, but they are, if you're used to playing something like the Total War games, they're a little bit familiar to you. Anyway, moving on, we've got the arrow keys. So if you press right, you spin right, press left, you spin left. Just straighten up here. You go down and the camera pans downwards, and equally you go up, pans upwards. Okay, now what you also get is if you move to the side of the screen, as you can see I'm here on the lower part, moves right, and again moves left. And again up here it pans round, so it's very similar to the way the camera controls work on Total War, as I said, if you've done that system. If we go down, go backwards and forwards. Okay, now the other commands using the mouse button, using the center mouse wheel, pushing forward on the mouse wheel pushes us down, and pulling up goes up. If you hold the right mouse button down and you then move, you can see you get a fairly smooth movement to left and right and up and down. Now there is another camera control which is holding the left mouse button down. This is something I don't really use because in the heat of battle I get a little bit too excited, but as you can see it's holding the left mouse button down and just pushing forwards. It's quite a nice little effect, but as I said, I don't really use it. Now the other thing you can do is if you want to go to a certain part of the map, excuse me if I get this wrong because I don't normally use this. If you hold the left control key down and press the left mouse button, there we go, we've gone to the little mound. Now equally, if you want to quickly turn around 180 degrees, you press the V key and there you are, and back again. Okay, and so that's the basic controls. Obviously there's more detail in the manual that you can look at. Now just very quickly, I'm not going to go through what appears on the panels here unless it's relevant to the commands that I'm doing. So anyway, let's get on with now the movement side of it. Now where we've got vehicles here, what we need to do is actually move the vehicles to the objectives, and we've got 4 objectives. We've got the parked vehicles here, we've got the house, and then there are 2 move objectives. We'll go fairly quickly through these because there's, as I said, other things I want to get through, and I want to keep this video fairly short. Okay, so we just hit the move key, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up to about there, and then I'm going to hit on the next one, and this one I'm going to bring there. Third vehicle there. The final vehicle I'm going to move down here. Now I do believe by default you cannot see all the moves when you've clicked on a particular vehicle. Now if you go into the menus button here, there is hotkeys down here, and somewhere there is on the bottom right hand side you've got all these little toggles. You can toggle sound, shadow, smoke, trees, camera shake, floating icons, show objectives, show landmarks, show all move paths, and that's Alt P. So we just click anywhere on the screen, left click, and that'll get rid of it. So again, if we just click on any, and we can also do units that aren't connected to the movement. So let's just press Alt P. And you can see what's happened now is only the movement for the highlighted vehicle is shown. So if we do Alt P again, and now you can see it says show all moves, and again we've got those back. And I think by default, if I recall correctly, you've only got a single move path. But anyway, let's get on with the show and press the button. Now we've got 30 minutes to do this in, and that's absolutely loads of time. So if you want to do this yourself, which I do recommend, don't worry about rushing because you've got loads of time, and apart from moving on to the next mission, there's nothing you actually achieve, so to speak. You're not going to get extra points or anything like that. It's not that sort of a game. Okay, as you can see, we've hit the objective. Now if we wanted to go back on the movement, we can using these camera controls. We can go back to the beginning, and it will start the movement, or we can fast forward, or we can actually press the red button and it will take us straight to the next move. Okay, here we are. Now there's a couple of ways we can get out of the truck, and so let's just cover those. So here we're just going to do a straightforward quick move, press the button, shows there. The other one, if we go to the special tab, got that right, there's a dismount key, so we press dismount and then press move. It's just your preference. Now that's all I'm going to do, because I've got other uses for these two lots of guys, which I'm going to show you. Actually, we'll take these out as well, because that's a good. Okay, let's just hit the button, because I'm going to show you a few things, so it's worthwhile them being down here. So I can see that they've all come out, and you can see some of them are sort of waiting for the other guys, because they're waiting on action points, which we'll show in a second. So it says we've done the second objective. Let's just come to an end. Okay, what we're going to do now is show you the different movements. Move is just an ordinary walk. They're not sort of too attentive about what's going on around them. It doesn't cost anything in terms of stamina. So we just hit the move on these guys and take them up to the next objective. Now what I'm also going to do is on first squad, you can see the squad name down here, first squad, and you've got the command and control C2 as it's called, bits of information down here which I'm not going to go too much into. Okay, we're just going to hit the quick command. Now you can see here you've got the 3 boxes, as you see me moving, and that's how the troops are going to distribute. There's been a lot of talk, people asking, we'd like the way they move between movement points, legs, to be different, but let's just have them move quickly. And quickly means they will move at a sort of trot pace. They'll be aware of their surroundings to a certain extent. If they get fired on, they're likely to stop, or at least some of them stop and shoot back. So let's just hit the button. Now another camera controls I didn't do. If you press the tab key, you can see I've got first squad still highlighted. We've now got view lock, and we can use sort of the downwards and upwards on the mouse button and the spinning round on the arrows, so you can use some of the cameras, but as soon as you do anything like forwards or backwards, you can see we've lost lock. If we do that, we can just hit tab again and we've got it. Now a couple of other commands, you might have seen some screenshots where you've got a really close up view and you just don't seem to be able to get that like this, and it's X and Z. So X will zoom in, as you can see, so you can get a really close shot and look at the guys, and then Z will zoom out, and you can see down here the zoom factor. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the HQ is still moving. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a couple of legs, so to speak. So I'm going to do a quick one again to this point. I'm then going to do a fast. Now, I always use the panels down here. I know they've got hotkey numbers for it tonight. I must admit I do use P for pause, which is on the special one, but I tend to always use the buttons. It's what I'm used to. I'm then going to do a fast, say here, and fast means they are going to run like anything. They are going to ignore anything that's going on around them. So if people are firing at them, they will still ignore it. They will still run. Now the next one I will use is slow, which means they'll get down on their bellies and they'll crawl forward, so it's quite a good one for sneaking towards a position. So like in Combat Mission Battle for Normandy, where you've got hedgerows, you might want to, that last point moving up to a hedgerow, you might want to use the slow command so that the enemy are less likely to spot movement at a hedgerow. The next one I use is hunt, which means they're going to carefully move forward, trying to spot the enemy. If they do spot the enemy, they will actually then get down and not move anywhere forward. Any future legs they've got, because you could have 3 or 4 hunts and a fast, quick and slow, any combination you like, as I've got here, that will all cancel out. The next one is assault, which means in teams they will assault this position. Now, one of the things you can do, and you can, I'm using Combat Mission Fortress Italy because it's got the second version of the engine on it, and there are a couple of other little bits and pieces you can do, which I'll show. But essentially, all of this applies to Battle for Normandy, even if you don't bother with the upgrade. And the upgrade is not the patch; it's different. Okay. So one of the things you can do, you could decide, I don't want to do a fast leg. You can just click on the leg and it highlights. I don't want to do a fast leg. I want to actually change that to an ordinary move. So I've highlighted that. I just press the move button and it changes to a move. Well, I actually do want to do it fast, so I'm going to put it back. Okay, so here we go. Let's just watch these guys. Do the view lock and press the button. As you can see, this is the quick move first of all. You can see the guys are stopping and they're waiting for the rest of the team to actually catch up. And once they're all in position, now they're doing the fast move. You can see they're moving a lot quicker. This will burn up energy, and down here on the tab you can see it says ready, but that's likely to go back to tiring, fatigued, etc. This is the slow command, so they're crawling along on their bellies, and that does tire them out quite a bit, quite quickly. Going to come up to the end of the turn before they finish. Okay, they've still got quite a bit there, so what we will do is, okay, yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cancel the moves. I think there is a command to actually clear the whole lot, but I can't remember and I don't use it. But what I tend to do is, because I like to keep things simple, is I just use the backspace. So backspace, backspace, backspace. So all the moves are cancelled now. So the ones we're missing to watch is the hunt command, so I'm going to have them hunt to that position, and then we'll do the assault on here. And away we go. Now it can take 1 or 2 seconds if you do change commands. As you saw, they still did the slow. It can take 1 or 2 seconds before they'll pick up on the new commands, because they're being told to do it, so you expect a slight delay. As you can see down here, it says they're tiring now. It can take 1 or 2 moves for them to recover. You can see that hunt command was moving cautiously forward. Now those guys are just finishing off in position. And now they're doing assault. And you can see the first team of 5 guys, sorry, if I know I could count, are running forwards. This is just to show you the different types of commands that you've got. Okay, we should see the next team get up and start going through. Have they finished their move? It looks like it. Yep, next team moving forward. So the first team have taken the objective, so to speak, and they are now covering fire, as is the team number 3, which is still in the original position. And once these guys get in position, there we go, now team number 3 will move forward. Now, there's no need to worry on this mission, because there's nothing that's going to shoot back at you. Okay, so that's it for camera controls and basic movement. Okay, now I was going to show you some extra little bits and pieces that I think it's very worthwhile knowing. And the first one is splitting a squad and then regrouping them. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to get rid of the trees to make it easy, because I'm going to work with this squad. Let's just cancel their movement. They will move back into position. Now, let's just get that out of the way. Okay, so what we've got is a squad of 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 men. Yes. And on A tab, which is admin, this doesn't occur for every single type of squad. You can split them into separate teams. I have heard people mention calling these squads, but they're referred to as team. This is your squad, as you can see, as I'm going over here on the left-hand side. It's highlighted in white which one you're actually over. It tells you what weapon they're using, and also you can see the guys' green bases are pulsating. Anyway, back to the splitting. Now, we can just do a straightforward split squads, which we'll do in a second, or you can just peel off an assault team, an anti-tank team, or a scout team. So let's do the scout team first of all. Now we've got 2 floating icons, and it's given us the scout team, so let's just issue a fast move command, which is not what you tend to do with a scout team. Just hit the button, and off they go. Now you can also see that the remainder of the squad, because they're so far away with the rest of the team, rest of the squad, they've actually moved back across. You can see this is something maybe you ought to be aware of as well. You've got a 2-man scout team. In some types of units, you will get 3 men, and one of them will have, let's say, a BAR or a Bren, which gives the scout team a little bit of extra firing power. Okay. Now the next thing is, how do you get your squad to how do you get your team, now you've got me doing it, how do you get your team to reform with its original squad? And that's quite simple. So we've still got them highlighted, and what we'll do, and this can work either way, we'll do fast, and we just bring it onto the movement square there. Just hit the key, and they come running back, And there they are. Now after a few seconds, sometimes this doesn't work quickly enough. They should rejoin. They should have rejoined by now. It's because I'm slightly out. It should be on the centre here, I suspect. So that's not how to do it. So it can be a little bit quirky. There you go. So it's only a couple. So you get it in the right square, and they will rejoin up. And that is the basic of splitting a squad with teams. Now, let's get this to the end. So you've got these separate little teams that you can do, the assault team, anti-tank team or scout team. You might say, well, why would you want to do that? Well, if you've got a situation, say over here, and we want to occupy this farm, we can do split teams, and now you can see free floating icons. These guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into the building here, and as you can see it asks you what level. What I'm going to do is this machine gun team. I'm going to move into this building, and these guys, as you can see, I'm doing the old way. I'm not using the V key because I just always forget. Whoops, sorry. And I'm going to have to move them up against the wall. So there you go. We can split the squad up to spread them out to occupy a better defensive position, much better, rather than all jammed into one place. Because one of the things that can happen is that if you've got all the guys in this one building, they can bunch up at the windows, which means all you need is some clever clogs with a grenade launcher, chucking that into a window, and bang, that's most of your squad gone. It's a shame can't show you on this mission. The other thing is that it's better in multi-floored buildings to split the squad over 2 or 3 floors. Okay, so that's that done. Now, the final thing I'm going to show you, and I apologise if I've forgotten anything, is acquiring ammo. Now you might think at this moment in time, oh, what use are those trucks? You've moved them into position, that's it. Or you can move them across the battlefield, which is unlikely is something you want to do unless it is a very, very large battlefield, to save your little pixel troopman's legs. But that's not the case. If you click on a truck, you can see down here on this tab, and there are 3 tabs in this little section here. You've got ammo, damage to the vehicle, and defences. Anyway, ammo is what we want. White is spare ammunition. If the vehicle gets blown up, that's gone. You cannot recover the ammunition, and it's likely to go off. So how do we acquire this ammunition? And acquire is the operative word. As you can see, we've still got troops in this vehicle. And again, I mean, you go to different vehicles and they have different amounts of ammunition. And also, some of them can have bazookas. It's well worth checking. Not only trucks and jeeps, but also half tracks. Half tracks, they will have highlighted in green at the top the ammunition they have actually got for their weapons, if any, but in white is the spare ammunition. So this is the basic way that you do it. So you can't just have it on the vehicle and the acquire button is greyed out. You can't give it out like that. You've actually got to click on the troops that are in the vehicle, and now you can use the acquire. You press the acquire button and it shows you all the amounts of ammunition you've got. Now this doesn't mean, let's do the 45 cal because it's easiest, doesn't mean you've got a box of 300, 200 and 100. What it means is the total amount you have is 300. The smallest amount that your troops can take is 100. So if we just take the 100, now we press the acquire again. You can do this any number of times. You can see the 45 cal is now 200, but it's actually broken down that 200 into different levels. So let's just take all 200, and you can see now the 45 cal is completely gone. Now you might be concerned about what ammunition do I need, and this is where it can get a little bit grey, and it's a little bit down to experience. The easiest one down here is to see on this part of the panel the ammunition that you've got. Obviously the 45 cal I've added, but you can see here 30 cal M2 is the mainstay of ammunition for this troop, this squad. So if we hit the acquire button, you've got M1 car, which is carbine. Someone might correct me on that. And then we've got M2. So you can see that's 1166, hopefully. I'm going to do the 500, and now it's gone up to 1666. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick command here. Just to show you something different, let them all get out and positioned. Okay, now you can peel off a part of your squad. You can split your squad, go to admin and say let's just take the scout team, 2 men. Quick, get into the vehicle. So I tend to strip my vehicles of ammunition prior to the start of the scenario, so I do that in the setup phase. Another way of acquiring ammunition is if the vehicle is close by to your men, they will, when they run out of ammunition, slowly take ammo from the vehicle, but I don't think that's very satisfactory. Although in a large battle where troops are spread out and you are expecting to receive a lot of casualties, you might want to keep some ammunition on a vehicle and then move it around as teams deplete. But do that with experience. I would tend to, if I've got teams in outpost positions, in forward positions, I would not tend to give them extra ammunition because I'd want them to fall back. And if they do die, which happens more often than not for me, I've not lost out on this extra ammunition. And so if I'm doing a defensive scenario, the further back within the my defensive position, the more ammunition I give to the teams. So anyway, let's click the button. So we can move on to the acquire. Just take the whole lot, and then we can tell them to move back to the troops, and off they go. And as I said, some vehicles you can get bazookas and the ammunition for the bazookas, And that's important to remember. Just because you pick up a bazooka doesn't mean you're going to get 3 or 4 actual, I don't know what the correct term is, but you're not going to get the ammunition for it necessarily. You've got to pick that up separately as well, which is also good because you might have another squad that's got a bazooka team, but you might want to give them extra ammunition. So, as I said, as with this squad, there is no bazooka team. It does have an AT grenade, which is quite useful. It might not look very good, but when it gets close up, I've seen it rattle a few tanks and a crew once or twice actually getting out of the vehicle through panicking. You can actually end up with an anti-tank team with a bazooka. Now, the other way of acquiring ammunition is quite simply through buddy aid, where you've got wounded troops, and if your troops from the same squad or another squad start giving wounded soldiers buddy aid, they will also at the same time strip off any decent weapons or ammunition that they might be short of, and equally for any dead troops that are still showing as well, they will get stripped. And that's all automatic. You don't have to worry about any commands on that. Okay, so that's it for acquiring ammunition. Thank you very much for watching. The second part will be covering the next mission on this basic training campaign, which handles mortars and artillery. Thank you very much for watching.